And this is intended sort of as what you might call a spot check tool. It's not a full-blown trending and analysis tool, but it is the sort of thing where you can load it up. You can say our golden run is what we're shooting for everything that we do. Drop a couple samples in there. How do we do? That kind of thing. So it's pretty straightforward that way. And then finally, the last feature here is the virtual press run. Now, virtual press run is not available in Curve 2.0. We really wanted it to be, but it's not. We'll be getting into beta testing soon, and we will, for those who have pre-purchased the VPR function, we will get you into the beta process as soon as we are able to, because we know you're probably eager to start testing. But the function is here. It really is built into the software. We really want this to work as accurately as it can, and we want to make sure that we test it effectively. And the previous features that I've shown you took a lot of our testing time to get where we were happy, and we really didn't get VPR to the point where we were that comfortable calling it done. But again, it'll come soon. Now, the virtual press run function has definitely had some interest. The basic idea behind it is, and there are a number of different uses, but here's a good scenario. If, when you do your G7 press runs, if you put a P2P target and an IT8 profiling style target on the same sheet, you do your press run, you can measure the P2P and the IT8, obviously. Now, when you measure the P2P, you'll get P2P data files, you'll put them into Curve, into run 1, and you'll do your first round, right? Now, on a number of different printing systems, truthfully, all of them cost money. Some of them are very expensive to do every time you do a press run, they're very expensive. So what the virtual press run allows you to do is take the curves from any particular run and apply them to the IT8 data. So if you were putting the IT8 on your target so that you could measure all the data, average it, and build a profile for proofing or maybe even for some separation purposes, the first IT8 is usually kind of a throwaway because the first run is done with the curves being flat in your RIP. And so the IT8 that you measure, you can't really use. You can build a profile for it, but you're never going to run the press in that state again. But in this particular case with VPR, what you do is you select the run that it used. For the example, it might be just from the first run. You don't want to do the second run, so we'll just imagine the golden run wasn't in there. So we'll select run 1. We'll select the target data to be curved. You can select whatever data file you might choose to select here. And I'm going to select like an IT8. Okay. The training data button here, you only need if you're curving something that's quite small. So if I hand this first button here, if I put like a P2P target in here, the P2P target is not enough to curve the P2P target, if that makes sense. There aren't enough patches to do a really good job curving it. So if you wanted to curve like just a P2P target, then it would be wise for you to put a full IT8 in the training target over here. And then it has a lot more data with which to do the curving kind of stuff. But if you're curving a full IT8, then that's usually enough information, definitely. Now, the curving method used, we have two choices. We can curve the LAB values or the CMYK values. And what it means is basically we're taking this set of measurements from your sheet, which is composed of CMYK values and the subsequent measurement, let's say LAB values. Okay. Now, the CMYK values in this particular case are IT8s. And so that's a very specific set of CMYK patches that are allowed, right? And if you select curve LAB values, then the CMYK values are unchanged. There's a lot more calculation required in this particular method. But when you're done, it saves out a measurement, basically a measurement file, and the CMYK values are unchanged, so it's still an IT8. And if your profiling software requires that, then that's the method you want to use. But if you have profiling software like, say, Profile Maker, for instance, that will accept sort of a wide range of CMYK values, then you can select curve the CMYK values. And then it will alter the CMYK numbers in the file and leave the measurements alone. That could be more accurate. It's a little faster. You can certainly do it one way or the other for comparison. But again, when the CMYK values are changed, it's no longer an IT8. So if you're going to bring it into Monaco Profiler, for instance, that will use an IT8 but won't use sort of an arbitrary set of CMYK values, then it wouldn't work. In this part of the software, it does not have to be any particular target. You know, for many things we recommend the more patches the better kind of thing. But I'm just using the IT8 here as an example. It could be ECI, it could be an earlier IT8, it could be anything you wanted. So basically you select one of these radio buttons, and it's disabled in this particular version, so that's why the button's grayed out. But once you have everything set up, you just say curve and export. It saves out a measurement file, and then you can use that in your profiling software and you're set. So that is the virtual press run function is available as a separate module to Curve. You can, when you buy Curve, you can add it on or not. If you buy the VPR function at the time of upgrade or purchase of Curve2, you get it at a reduced rate. But if you want to buy it later, it is still available, and you can basically add that module to Curve2, turn it on, and do VPR kind of stuff. Just in case anybody had any questions. The logistics of upgrading are reasonably straightforward. You can upgrade through your existing dealer that you bought Curve from, or you can do it directly off of the CHROMiX website. It's up to you. Basically, you send your username and serial number from your existing version of Curve, and then that gets you the significantly reduced rate for upgrading to Curve2. As I mentioned, the manual is excellent, and I strongly recommend that if you upgrade to Curve, that you read it, because it's filled with much more detail than what I've been able to present to you today, in a very clear, organized way that's good. That's very useful. So it was intended to be a quick demonstration of Curve. It took almost exactly an hour, which is kind of miraculous. If you have any remaining questions or any problems or anything, by all means, please get in touch with us. You can get in touch with me at upton@chromix.com. You can get in touch with Don, I believe at don@hutchcolor.com. As well as if it's a sales kind of thing, or if you're a dealer, you can phone us and just hit 1, and you'll get Rick in sales. And he'll answer any kinds of questions you might have of that sort of stuff, whether you're a dealer or you are an end user. Okay. We don't seem to have any chat questions in here, so I'm going to bring the meeting to a close. Thank you very much for your time today. And as I mentioned, if you have any questions, please get in touch with us. Thank you very much.